So here we are, 50 years later, the 23rd Bond film in the series. I'm going to try and avoid as many spoilers as possible in this video. You should be safe to watch it if you've yet to see Skyfall. So the film opens with Bond on assignment. Somebody has stolen a hard drive containing data on all the undercover operatives MI6 has around the world. It's incredibly important and secret information, of course. They can't let this fall into the wrong hands. As Bond is fighting the operative, they're running out of time. M makes a judgment call for a fellow agent to take a very risky shot. Instead, the bullet hits 007. As he falls to his death, the person they were after escapes. Of course, Bond returns, 3 months later to be precise, after a recovery period, to find out who's behind this plot. So Quantum of Solace left me extremely underwhelmed after the great Casino Royale. It's been 4 years since the last Bond film and expectations were high on this delivering. So what did I think of Skyfall? Well, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Even more so than Casino Royale, actually. They really pulled out all the stops for this one. Everything is just top notch. It's clearly one of the best Bond films. I know this sounds a little strange since it just came out in cinemas, but I feel really confident with saying that, and it will have no trouble holding up on multiple viewings down the line. Sam Mendes directed this film, who did such films as American Beauty and Road to Perdition. He turned out to be as good a choice as I'd hoped. He also brought along his usual composer, Thomas Newman, to score the film. He replaces David Arnold, who had done the music since Tomorrow Never Dies on the series. Newman delivers a great score, very satisfying. Speaking of the music, Adele's opening song is as great as I'd hoped it would be. Perfect match. A very special mention goes to Roger Deakins, one of my all-time favourite cinematographers, who is known for his work on the Coen Brothers movies. This is such an incredible looking film visually, maybe the nicest Bond has ever looked actually. There were many moments in the film that were absolutely beautiful. Skyfall is also the first Bond film to be shot digitally instead of on film. I especially enjoyed the themes in the story a lot. James Bond is starting to become too old for doing this kind of field work. Daniel Craig is actually 43 now, by the way. I liked that they didn't try to hide Bond's age and pass him off as a young man, like they did in Moore's era so much when he got older. Instead, they wrote it to be part of the film. This is a good time for me to mention Craig seemed much better in this film. He pulled off a suave Bond well, and I think a lot of the people who previously didn't like his Bond might actually be surprised. We even get to explore some of Bond's past later in the film. Judi Dench's M gets her biggest role yet and is absolutely fantastic, having far more relevance to the story this time around and exploring the relationship between her and James. Javier Bardem plays an interesting and different villain. I won't spoil anything about him, but I'll just say I thought he did a great job. He was very interesting to watch. There are also a number of great homages throughout the film to celebrate the 50th anniversary, as expected. I'm sure praising this film a lot, aren't I? I just feel it deserves it. I really found it that damn good. You should definitely see it, especially in cinemas. There's actually a lot more that I could dive into with this video, but I would prefer you go experience it for yourself. I do have one tiny complaint though. The gun barrel opening once again was not at the start of the film, but the end. It made sense in Casino Royale's placement. I understand the reasoning why Quantum placed it at the end, despite my beefs with that film. So I expected that now we could place it at the start again like the classic series. It also was quite bland looking. They really should just go back to the design of the classic era. I know this sounds really petty, but it's a big deal to a fan like me. I can't honestly think of any other problems I had with the film. I'm sure on repeat viewings in the future I'll see more, but at the moment I'm enjoying the fact that Bond films can still come out and still amaze me as much as they did when I was 7 years old.
Some men are coming to kill us. We're gonna kill them first.